Hi YouTubers, welcome. So today I'm doing a video about how to repair a trampoline. In particular, I'm talking about when these things here, let me show you, tear or break. This fabric here, sometimes, well, with age it'll tear and break and these V-rings can come out. I'm going to teach you how to fix this. Here's a spot where there was one and the remnants kind of just completely pulled away and there's no spring. There should be. So I'm going to teach you how to fix this part of the trampoline, adding a new fabric so that you can have a new your spring back. I'm going to show you some materials that I have. First off, I have some seat belt webbing, and it's about the same width. And this is polyester, not nylon. Polyester will mold and mildew in the rain, so you don't want to use that. Or nylon will. So go with the polyester. And I have a new ring here. The D rings are a little bit cheaper than the V rings you can find. So I'm using the D rings. And so what I'm going to show you in the end is we're going to be doing this. We're going to be putting this under here and sewing it. And you're going to want to sew the D ring such that the end of the D ring is about the same distance away as the others. That way you get about the same kind of tension as you would normally get.
Circle around the top.
Yes. So okay, let's go ahead and get to work showing you how to stitch this. I have a I'm going to hold it in place, and what I found that kind of helps is I take a spring clamp, or a clamp here, a hand clamp, to hold it in place for me while I kind of get things going. And I have a sewing awl. This is the Speedy Stitcher sewing awl that I'm going to use to hand stitch using the lock stitch to stitch this fabric, the seatbelt webbing, to the rest of the trampoline mat. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to work. I have found that the best pattern seems to be going from this corner to that corner to that corner, then diagonally, then down and then over. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and get started. And what you're going to want to be careful because, and you're very likely to poke your finger.
Don't poke your finger.
That's right.
Hurt very much.
That's right.
It'll hurt even more.
Trust me, I've skewered my fingers too many times already. So be careful about it. So to do the lock stitch, you're going to want to get enough thread out so that because this part of the thread is what's going to be staying on the bottom. You want enough about this long so that when you do the lock stitches all the way around, you'll have enough to complete the project. And this is about 8 inches, 10 inches. That should be good enough. So I plunged it down, and I'm going to go ahead for a second pattern. I draw back up and I come back down again, about 1/8 of an inch over. Again, being as careful as I can not to skewer myself because I'm not using a thimble. And then, so we need the lock stitch. So that means I'm going to create this loop by drawing back. Now I go ahead and thread through the loop, pulling with some tension, not too much tension, but enough that it's not loose. And that's the first stitch. As I pull tight a little bit, it's locking around this bottom thread. The top thread locks around the bottom thread. Okay, so we're on the last lock stitch here. Now the last one you have to treat separately. And what I'm going to do is give myself, you're going to need a little bit of extra cordage. And so I'm going to draw out some extra cordage here. I just need enough so that I can do a square knot. There. And that's how you want it to look. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it now. Okay. And then I just tie a couple extra knots for the sake of tying knots, but that's good enough. And then I'll cut off the excess, and we're good to go and head and put a spring on it. So let me do this, and I'll get a spring, and we'll go ahead and give it a try. And that's going to hold. It's really strong. It's going to work. As you can see, we're good to go. Here's a couple others that I did. I think these look really good here, and here. As you can see, it's holding up. Now, one thing to know about these D-rings is I've noticed they're nickel plated, so they will rust with time, but it's going to take a long time. So, and then they're cheap, so I wouldn't worry about it. Here's another spot where I'm going to need to fix it. The ring actually was missing, so, and there's no way to get a new ring on there except taking it apart and prying it back on. But I think it's going to be best just to cut this off and stitch a new one on.